Hey, I'm Courtney Waterman, your tutor. Lover of anime, manga, and math. And you just tuned into another session of Tutor Me Sempai. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're jumping into a 4th grade topic, multiplying by multiples of 10 and 100. Now, if you're new to my channel, I'll be putting time codes in for this video in the description box below, so use that to skip ahead to whatever part of the video you think is most interesting. Now, if you have any question about what you see it today, or even your own homework, feel free to put in the comment box below, or visit me on my Facebook page at Tutor Me Sempai and tell me all about it there. Now, this video should be a rather short one, so leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and let's get started. So to get started in today's video, we're going to talk about the steps that you're going to need to do in order to multiply by multiples of 10 and 100. Now, the first step is breakdown. Now, what do I mean by breakdown? Well, we're going to break down our numbers, but we're not going to break them down in just any fashion. This breakdown is going to be dependent upon what we talked about in my last video. Now, if you have no idea what I talked about in my last video, that video we covered a shortcut to help us multiply by 10 and 100 very fast. And this breakdown step is pretty much going to make us do all of that in reverse. We're going to break down our numbers by using the shortcut in reverse. So if you have no idea what that shortcut is, no worries. I'll put a link to that video right up here and you can check it out at any time. If you have no idea and you are curious, please check that out first, because that's going to make this breakdown step a lot easier to understand. However, we'll cover breakdown in the very next part of this video, so stay tuned. The second step is just going to be multiply. Now, we're not going to talk about this specifically because this is just simply multiplying everything that you have. However, we will have to talk about this when we do our examples today in order to find our answer. So these are going to be the 2 steps you're going to need to know in order to multiply by multiples of 10 and 100. Let's talk about that first step now, breakdown. What is this breakdown? Now, we just said breakdown was going to be the reverse of that shortcut. So let's talk about what this shortcut was. In our last video, we talked about how we can easily find something like this, 10 times 53, by simply seeing how many zeros are in 10, writing that entire 53 out, and adding the zeros to the end. So we have 1 0 in 10, so we add 1 0 at the end of 53. We did the same thing for 100. So if we had 100 times, let's say 793, we can do 793. How many zeros in 100? 2 zeros, and we tack them at the end. So this was our shortcut in order to multiply by 10 and 100. So our breakdown is to do this in reverse. So we're going to take this number and we're going to break it apart into something like this. So if we can go this way, we should be able to go this way as well, right? If 100 times 793 equals this, that means this equals 100 times 793. So let's try to break down this 950. The first thing I'm going to do is separate this into its non-zero part and its zero part. 95 is our non-zero part, so we're going to write that 95 here. Then we're going to multiply by what? How many zeros are left? 1. So this should be a 10 because 10 has 1 0. This is how we break down. Remember, we're doing it in reverse. How about this one? 7,600. So we're going to separate our non-zero part from our zero part. We're going to write the non-zero part and then multiply it by what? Well, this has 2 zeros, so we can do times 100. It's that simple. If you can go one way, you should be able to go the other way as well. But although this is simple, this is going to be the most important part because this is going to help us multiply in our next step. So these are going to be our 2 examples for today. Remember, our 2 steps are going to be first break down, then multiply. So let's look at our first one here, our number 1. What do we want to break down? Now, we can't really break down this 5. But we can break down this 700, right? So we're going to take 700 and we're going to try to break that down and then rewrite this. So what does 700 break down into? Now remember, we want to separate our non-zeros from our zeros. So we have our non-zeros. So 700, I'm going to write up here, equals what? 7, right? That's our non-zero part, times what? Is it going to be 10? No. It's going to be 100 because we have 2 zeros here. So this whole thing really just equals 5 times, right, times 7 times 100. We broke down 700 into 7 times 100. Now we can move on to our second step, which is multiply. Now this may have been easy, but it also could have been hard. However, this should be pretty simple at this time. This is your regular multiplication table. What is 5 times 7? Well, 5 times 7 is going to be 35. So we have 35 times 100. Well, how do we do this? This is 35 times 100. Well, that's where our shortcut comes into play again, right? We know how to do this because we did it in our last video. Yes, we did the reverse to break things down, but now we can put things back together. 35 times 100, we're going to take 35, write it here, and then tack on how many zeros? 2. So our answer is going to be 3,500. How about this one? Now we can't break 3 down, but we can break 120 down. So this is going to be 3 times, now 120. What are we going to break that into? So our non-zero part and our zero part. Our non-zero part is 12. Our zero part means we have only one zero, so we have a 10 here. So 3 times 120 turned into 3 times 12 times 10. Now we just multiply. This should be a little bit easier than this, right? What's 3 times 12? Well, that's going to be 36. And then we just bring that down again because we haven't multiplied by 10. And now what's 36 times 10? We can use our shortcut once again. We take 36, how many zeros? 1, and we tack it on to the end. So our answer for the second part is going to be 360. So you see, multiplying by multiples of 10 and 100 are going to be pretty simple if you know that shortcut and can do it in reverse. If we can break things down using our shortcut, then we can do easy multiplication first and then go back to our shortcut afterwards. So I hope you follow on to the examples, and I hope you see that multiplying by multiples of 10 and 100 is going to be pretty simple as long as you know your 2 steps. First break down, then multiply. If you have any questions about what you saw here today, or even your own homework, remember you can put them in the comment box below or visit me on my Facebook page at Tutor Me Sempai and tell me all about it there. If you haven't done so already, remember to leave that like. It really helps the channel by letting YouTube know that you found this video helpful and it could potentially be helpful for somebody else. So hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're at it, and share this video with a friend. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I'm really hoping this helped with your homework, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week. I'm Courtney, and this is another session of Tutor Me Sempai.